I guess we'll all have our mics muted.
Okay, here we go. Take yourself and imagine you have an extremely important exam that afternoon. You plan out your morning to a T just so you can be early and relaxed for your exam. You go to park in the garage 30 minutes before your exam, and every single spot was taken. You then stress about where you're going to park and whether you'll be late to your exam or not. Personally, I've struggled with parking numerous times on campus, whether that's going to class, picking up a book, or going to the library. I feel the stress firsthand when struggling to find a spot. Many of my classmates and friends have shared similar experiences, making it clear that parking is a common challenge for students. The University of South Carolina should expand their student access by redesigning student underused parking lots and increasing student parking zones. Because doing so, it would reduce student stress, improve class attendance and punctuality, and make it more efficient use of existing parking resources. Today, I'll discuss the current parking situations at the University of South Carolina, explaining parking difficulties, how they create stress and negatively affect academic performance, and present a practical solution that can improve parking access for students. According to the Daily Gamecock, there are only 17,000 total parking spots at the University of South Carolina. USC's Parking and Transportation sold approximately 21,000 parking permits for the fall of 2024 semester. Those parking permits guarantee that those students have a parking spot in a garage or parking lot. Due to USC's vast campus, over 65% of students live off campus, requiring them to commute. Not every student wants to or can pay almost $1,000 each year for a garage parking permit. Some choose to pay hourly parking fees. With the number of tax holders compared to spots, it can be very competitive and students struggle with finding available parking spots. According to the Daily Gamecock, they interviewed 40 students to get their take on parking at University of South Carolina. 60% said they had trouble parking on campus at least once a week, and 10% said they struggle every single day to find a parking spot. The lack of parking availability does not simply create an inconvenience, it also has a direct impact on students' mental well-being and academic success. According to a 2025 study by Kaylee Oyster at Bowling Green State University, parking unpredictability was one of the largest sources of stress for students, causing anticipation, anxiety, and emotional disruptions. The study found that students arrived 20 to 30 minutes earlier than necessary because they're worried about finding parking, adding additional stress to their daily schedules. Instead of using that extra time to eat breakfast or prepare for class, students spend it worrying on whether they'll be able to find a parking place or not. The same study concluded that parking should be considered part of the student well-being and academic preparedness because students reported cognitive fatigue caused by parking uncertainty. Students who spend time searching for parking may arrive late to class or miss class in general or miss important information. Repeated tardiness can negatively affect participation grades and overall academic performance. The stress and frustration of finding parking can make it harder for students to focus during lectures or exams. Students should be focused on learning and succeeding academically, not worrying about where they're going to park their car that day. Because parking shortages negatively affect students both personally and academically, the university should consider a practical solution that makes better use of existing parking resources. The University of South Carolina should expand student parking access by redesigning underused parking areas and increasing student parking zones. Parking and Transportation Services could conduct a review of lots and garages that are consistently underutilized during those peak class hours. Underused faculty, staff, or reserved spaces could be converted into student parking during specific times of the day when the demand is lower. Expanding student parking zones would provide commuters with additional options, reduce overflowing in the most heavily used garages, for example, Bull Street Garage. Expanding student parking access would benefit both students and the university. Students would spend less time searching for parking and spend more time focused on academics. Improved parking availability would increase punctuality and class attendance. Better utilization of existing parking resources would allow the university to improve parking access without the significant expense of constructing new garages. The solution is practical because it focuses on making better use of resources that already exist rather than major construction projects on campus. In conclusion, parking should not be another obstacle standing between students and their education. Today, I discussed the shortage of parking spaces compared to permits sold, the stress and academic challenges caused by limited parking, and how expanding student zones could provide a practical solution and cost-effective solution. I urge Brian Falva and the University of South Carolina Parking and Transportation Services Department to evaluate underused parking areas and expand student parking access. By making better use of existing parking resources, the university can reduce student stress, improve punctuality, and create a more student-friendly campus environment. And that is all.
Okay, I do have a question on your policy change. How do you expect to fund the expansion of the parking? Like,
So so for funding, since I want to keep used lots by faculty, it wouldn't be cost effective because I'm not building a new garage or having any construction. So it would just be like getting a policy change, so it would be like no cost.
okay, okay.
Well, I have a question. I had a friend who was a TA for, I think, a University 101 class this year, and we were talking, and she said, I asked like if the teachers or if the faculty had better parking options, and she said it was just as bad
Mm.
for the grad students. So I'm curious if like, do you know if they get treated the same as students would, or do they get faculty? And if they get the faculty privileges, like how would you address there's still not enough spots?
That is a very good question. So I have not researched how, like the comparison of faculty with parking as a result of students, but I would be open to looking into the
Mhm.
comparison in that aspect.
Yeah, okay. That seems like a good, because I'm like, I wonder, it sounds like they don't have enough spots for the teachers either, the faculty
Yeah, that's a
either.
very
So
good
it's like,
comparison. It might not like so for the speech. So instead of just faculty and staff, it's also underused lots. So
yeah,
like maybe not specifically for faculty, just lots that are being underused, and we could use those for faculty or students, just anyone in.
right, right. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you think opening up those underused lots would like encourage more students to buy more permits and like because like if you open up more spots, do you think, you know, it will cause the problem again? Because right now it's like, you know, it's being overfilled because they're overselling.
Mhm.
But like if you open it up more, do you think like it would oversell more or I don't know.
I think it potentially could oversell more because, well, USC has a huge like acceptance rate, whatever. So we do over accept, in my opinion, students,
Mm,
and it's overcrowded in general. So with them selling like 4,000 extra parking permits than the capacity can allow, I feel like that's also an issue because you're selling more than what you have in general. So
yeah.
I do think it could cause that issue again, yes.
Do you think that any majors should have like priority over parking and like depending on like where their classes fall and like within their schedule or doesn't really
I
matter?
I don't think so. I can't say this major is more important than another major. Like I feel like they're all equally important. So and I feel like everyone deserves to find parking just like everyone else.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for me. That's all the questions I have. Any of you guys have questions?
Yeah, that was really it for me. I mean, otherwise, I completely agree. The parking is terrible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So whoever would like to go next is
I can go next, honestly. Should I? I guess we could just keep it recording. There are so many students who constantly balance their classes, work, student loans, clubs, student organizations, housing, and their personal lives. Meanwhile, they are going off general knowledge that they know or have had to learn along the way to figure out how to navigate life and financial decisions with little or no guidance. During my formative years of education, an interest sparked in me while I was going through the motions of life. I was curious and pondered on why, as students, we are learning about all kinds of subjects, yet no one warns us of what further knowledge we need in our adult life. Education is a vital part of society. While the education system is constantly improving and shifting with new resources that we are acquiring, we should not only continue to utilize our natural ability to educate ourselves for educational purposes, but also incorporate decision making into our education system. This is why I believe the education system should go beyond expected topics. I am fortunate to have my family's support while in school, but this is not the case for everyone. I have had to take a step back and evaluate the minimal knowledge I have regarding finances, taxes, investing, budgeting, and so on. It raises concern because I wonder if if I am sufficiently understanding the logistics behind decision making. I believe many students feel the same way, at least to a certain extent. The most influential thing the education system can do for the future generation of students is to set them up for success beyond post-secondary education. Implementing this financial literacy requirement will help students feel more confident managing real-world challenges like student loans, rent, and monthly budgets while balancing schoolwork and life responsibilities. Doing this would not only benefit students, but also other citizens in our economy. Having more people educated on these topics leads to a better functioning society. The average student loan debt in the United States stands at $33,310. This is the average graduate debt. This may differ depending on individual circumstances, but it can be prevented. Many students are unaware of what after college life looks like, which can be intimidating and trigger unwanted emotions. This can escalate, resulting in poor financial decisions. The Provost Center should want to help pave the way for students to succeed not only in academics, but also in the real world. If the literacy course were not mandatory, only a select number of students would take it. Making the course mandatory is essential for implementing it. Making the decision to make a mandatory course would hopefully solidify the commitment to the course and the curriculum. The course would be a trimester course that the students may take during the summer, fall, or spring, depending on their specific needs and course requirements. The course will also be offered online due to high enrollment capacity. Professors should take accountability for the student's success after college, and they can contribute by educating students on topics beyond academics. According to this Chinese study, does enrolling in finance-related majors improve financial habits by the Asia Pacific Education Review? Students who received a financial literacy course said that they had learned more and gained greater knowledge, but they weren't taught how to apply that knowledge to their personal experiences and finances. They stated that the curriculum had an imbalanced design. Having a well-designed, applicable course is what we need as students to succeed. Confirming that it would be a well-rounded course, students would participate in interactive activities such as budgeting and tracking virtual money, debating the topic of making smart purchases in different instances, and creating a credit score profile, and so on. In conclusion, considering the effect of the university may undergo is a concern regarding whether this hypothetical could be put into action. Professors would have to be willing to support this movement as well as be equipped to teach the subject. The search for finding which professors to teach this course, the costs, the course method, etc. Some difficulties may arise from this, but in all, I think it is a possibility for the future. As college students, we want to make the most of our experience, and we also want to feel secure, prepared, and informed about what may be ahead of us. If students aren't aware of their financial responsibilities, there may be unnecessary feelings that might arise, such as anxiety, worry, and doubt about oneself, and this can lead to further complications. For the education system to address all possibilities one may face is the best way to actively improve a student's success rate. Being able to apply this specific kind of knowledge to one's personal lives is the most valuable lesson one may learn. With the information I provided, I think the implementation of a financial course would only improve the university's resources that are provided, as well as cater to the students' needs and what is vital after graduation. That's it.
I can start. I have a question. So,
Yeah.
how I remember like in my high school, we offered like personal finance classes and they didn't teach you anything. Like it was like a class that you would go in there and you would sit and be on your phone. So I'm like
Yeah.
in the college, like how could you like ensure that they're actually like it's not just a busy work class and that they're actually teaching you what you need to know?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I don't know. I think obviously having like a specific like regimen for the course would
Hmm.
help. And I don't know, personally, and when I'm taking classes, I feel like when there's so much information and then it's like being just pushed in your face, I'm like, okay, this is too much. I'm
Hmm.
overwhelmed. It's like, what's the point of doing this if you're like, no one's going to find any interest if you're going to do that. So I feel like keeping it very plain and simple, very basic, but also like what I was saying, like being very interactive with
Yeah.
students so that like you're not just learning from like a lecture slide and you're like getting like physical copies of things and stuff to like examine and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And then like maybe like assignments that like tie into like your own personal situation or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be good. Okay, cool.
Yes, I also have a question. So, do you think this is something that should only be taught in college, or do you think there is a way to incorporate something similar before college, like high school, so that people can prepare? Because I feel like some
Definitely.
people don't go to college specifically, and I feel like learning financial, like just in general, is important for people everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think it should be in high school as well because like that's when you're starting to learn about everything and then it's like that's what is preparing us for college and like not just like everything in general, but yeah, I think it could be incorporated in like because we take economics and we take government and like that should definitely be like another part of the course, even like it could be a little like chunk of it and like I think that would definitely benefit us.
I have a question. Would you think that adding a another mandatory course will push back like graduation dates? Like, because I guess
Um,
it's like 120
yeah.
credit hours now. So if you add a little more, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I think it could potentially set back graduation, but I think that would probably be like the last case scenario just because it would be offered online in the summer and a trimester course. So I don't know, like also I think that it would just the your whatever your counselor can like work it into your schedule, I feel like, because we're already taking so many courses.
I do have a question related to his. So, like, because it could push back graduation, do you think
Yeah.
since it would be a requirement, it could replace a potential different requirement, or do you think it would just add on to the curriculum?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, like maybe I guess. Yeah, probably. I feel like it also kind of like I don't want to say it depends on your major because like I think everyone should take the course, but like yeah, I think might as well just go ahead and put it in like the requirements of the Carolina Core.
Yeah, like I know there's some like some of the Carolina core classes are a little redundant, so they could definitely like
Yeah,
squeeze two into one and then make
I agree.
room for it.
Mhm.
exactly. Okay, if you guys don't have any questions, then I guess that's it.
Okay, well, I could go next if, unless
I,
Max, you want to go.
I'm fine with whatever. If you want to go, I can go
Okay.
last.
All right, so today I'll be talking about changing the Thomas Cooper um, hours library policy. So I'll begin. Every semester during finals week, many of highly motivated students are forced out of the library after 2 a.m. during their peak times of productivity. This time restriction forces them back to their loud dorms, which can be disruptive to their academic productivity. The library has always been the place I work the best, given its quiet study spots and its vast resources available. Like many others, I work best at night, and because the library wasn't operating for 24 hours, sometimes I had to go back to my dorm, which wasn't a place to study because my roommates were distracting and I lived next to the train tracks. Trying to write my English paper while No Broke Boys by Disco Line is being blasted on someone's speaker in the shower is truly impossible. It creates a feeling of helplessness while I'm trying to succeed. I'm sure many of you guys have had similar experiences and are frustrated as well. Closing the Thomas Cooper Library Hour early restricts academic productivity, which is why I'm calling on the Dean of Libraries to change the library's hour policy to a 24-hour library operations model so that the university can provide students with a 24/7 academic hub that meets their needs. Today, I'm going to be talking about how extending the library's facility hours supports campus equity for students with non-traditional hours and how it modernizes our infrastructure through a cost-efficient strategy. According to the University of South Carolina's enrollment data, we have seen an increase of around 2,000 students these past 2 years, jumping from 36,000 students in the fall of 2023 to 40,000 students in 2025. With this trend, we can expect that more classes are going to get filled and there will be more non-traditional schedules. The current schedule for the library does not accommodate every student and their work habits. It assumes that we have traditional daytime schedules. As noted by the Daily Gamecock, this isn't the case for a lot of students, and some classes have exams that can go as late as 7:15 p.m., leaving only the night and early mornings for work. Also, a lot of freshmen live in dorms without study rooms or don't have a quiet place to study, and many express that the library should stay open for later hours. The policy has had history with numerous complaints and even a change with the recent passing of several legislations by the USC Student Senate. According to the Daily Gamecock, the USC Student Senate successfully managed to extend the USC library hours on the weekends to accommodate students with non-traditional schedules. They extended it by 2 hours from its previous 7 p.m. closing time to a 9 p.m. closing time. However, I believe that this is not enough. We should strive to be more flexible and even match our regional competitors as well. According to competitors like the University of Georgia and the University of Florida, they provided continuous 24-hour study facilities for their students. For USC to remain competitive, I believe that we should provide the same. To solve this problem, we don't need a budget increase, we just need a smarter policy. Keeping a facility operating for 24 hours requires lots of money and energy consumption. According to the USC Facilities Department, they prioritize meeting the needs of the campus while reducing overall energy consumption through efficient and effective strategies, which is why we don't need to fund or staff all of the 6 floors of the building. At 2 a.m., floors 1 through 4 will be closed, and all of the overnight students will be moved to the main floor. This way, we can keep our staffs to a minimal and reduce our costs further. Not only are there financial barriers we must overcome, but also safety concerns. To ensure overnight safety, the building will be locked down exclusively to the university community, and only students and staffs will be able to access the main floor via card swipe. Providing a 24-hour library actually provides a safe place for students to study. When students are kicked out at 2 a.m., they aren't just losing their resources, but also a safe haven. Think about our commuters or even those who are full-time students and workers. Without T-Cube, they are forced to walk in the dark streets or sit in their cars, looking for a place with Wi-Fi. By having T-Cube open for 24 hours, we can provide a safe haven for all students, giving them the resources they need to succeed. This approach allows for less staffing while maintaining overhead costs at a low and ensuring safety. To conclude, by closing a 5-hour operational gap, we can accommodate all students and keep academic productivity. Transitioning to this 24-hour zone library model protects our non-traditional students while maintaining efficiency. David Banish, I believe that USC is a world-class institution whose library should be a center for stewardship, equity, and academic growth. But right now, we are putting a restriction on our students. Let's foster our students into a successful and high achievable workers by removing this curfew. Let's eliminate this 5-hour gap and let our students know that this school is here to help them succeed. Thank you. So if any of you guys have questions to ask, I do have a set of questions as well, but if you have questions to ask, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I have one. So I used to work at one of the Starbucks on campus, and I know like for when finals weeks, they would do the library be 24 hours, the T Coop Starbucks would also have adjusted hours. And so I was wondering, do you think they should continue the adjusted hours to go like if the library is going to be open 24 hours, and you could just do the adjusted hours all year round?
I think, I mean, obviously, I don't think Starbucks should be open 24 hours because no Starbucks is open.
Yeah, but they would like, I think it would normally they would close at like 9 or 10 and they would stay open until like 12:30, I think.
I mean, I think maybe they should adjust to the later, like if we're obviously are going to open the library for 24 hours, um, maybe adjusting it the hours for Starbucks, will help like attract more students as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. But obviously having the Starbucks open at like 12 a.m. is not, I guess, the best healthy option.
Yeah.
Having like coffee that late, but um, I mean, I'm not really arguing that for health concerns. I'm arguing for, equity of like students.
Yeah. And that makes sense because like I had a lot of friends who would pick up those late shifts and they loved it because it was like the times that they
Yeah.
had free
So if
time
anything,
and there
it
would be like a
creates,
shocking amount
yeah.
of people still ordering drinks.
Yeah, if anything, it creates jobs as well too.
Yeah,
Like
and
opening it
I
later.
think it also creates a motivation force for the students who are working there too.
Yeah.
Or not working there, like working on their homework there. That's what I meant.
hmm
I also have a question. So you mentioned cost in your speech and how like levels 1 through 4 would like be inoperable. How do you think like the university would feel financially about moving forward, like with people needing to be hired longer, having to pay those people the utilities like electricity, all those
I
mandatory
think, I mean,
go.
obviously, I think the university cares about its students a lot. So if this is a concern that even like, I guess the USC Student Senate is like kind of trying to, change, then they will listen to it because again, like the student voice is like a big influence on the USC like facilities department or whatever. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I was also gonna ask something similar because I know that there's the workers, they like take shifts and stuff, but like, would you change that or like how would you go about that?
Yeah, so again, like providing student jobs, so it wouldn't have to be like staffs or whatever. It can because like students work at the front desk as well, and then you can have like a security guard maybe on the outside overnight. That opens up jobs not even just for USC students, but like people outside of USC as well.
I do have another question.
Yeah.
And you probably haven't researched it, but do you know how much it costs to run the library, like for an hour specifically, just to see
No,
how?
I do not know how much it costs. I don't know if USC discloses that information. Um, but yeah, I'm sure it's a lot. Um, well, if any of you guys don't have any questions, I have a couple of questions of myself. I guess what kind of challenges have you guys faced when trying, because I'm sure you guys have been in dorms freshman year. So what kind of challenge have you faced when trying to study in dorms or off-campus housing?
When you said about the listening to music in the shower, it made me laugh because my roommate would do the same thing. It'd be like 9 a.m. and he's listening to Ethel Cain, and it's like the saddest music I've ever heard. And it's like, I can't get anything done because I'm just sad now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Anyone else?
sorry. Do you mind saying the question one more time?
Yeah. Like I'm sure you guys have lived in dorms your freshman year. I don't know if you guys are still in
Mm.
the dorms, but what challenges have you faced when trying to study in dorms, or I guess now you're off campus housing if you are there?
Yeah, well, like my first year, I lived with like one roommate, so like she was working all the time, so it was kind of nice because I had the apartment a lot. Um, I think the biggest issue is just like this year I was just close with my roommates, so it was like they would always want to talk to me and like we'd always like conversate whenever I was home and I'm like, guys, I really got to do my work like because I was out for the majority of the day and our schedules, they don't really align, so we're just trying to talk to each other whenever we can.
I agree. Mine was very similar to that. But my roommate, she constantly like had friends over, and so it was like trying to balance like focusing myself and having to deal with their distractions and everything. So that was kind of a struggle. Also, there is less than a minute for this free trial and it's telling me to upgrade.
Oh
So,
no.
and it said it'll
Should
end in like less than a minute, so I'm not sure if we should
Oh, wait,
like
yeah,
like the call?
wait,
yeah,
stop the
the
rec
Zoom.
yeah,
Or is
stop
it
the
the
Okay,
recording?
we can stop
stop
the
the rec
recording.
and then we'll start a new Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
I'll do that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.